Hello, friends. Today we are going to enjoy Evie Lucas's essay entitled Tight Corners. I will read a paragraph and then explain the paragraph. And one more thing, that because this is somewhat a long essay, so I have divided this essay into two parts. The first 11 paragraphs will be in part 1 and the remaining in the second part. So I read the first 3 lines for you. The talk was running on the critical situations in which we had found ourselves, those of us whose lives were adventurous enough to comprise any. So the writer, the essayist, was sitting with his friends, and they had been talking about those tough situations, difficult situations in which the life may be at risk or the reputation may be at risk, and how these people handled these situations, how they escaped from these situations. I read. One man had been caught by the tide in Brittany and escaped by the skin of his teeth. Another had been on an elephant when a wounded tiger charged at it. A third had been on the top of the story of a burning house. A fourth was torpedoed in the war. I explain. The first man in the company of the essayist, he was caught by the tide in a sea in Brittany, which is a province in France, and he had a very narrow escape. Now another friend told a story that he was riding an elephant, and then an injured tiger attacked the elephant and how he escaped. The third friend told a story about a burning house, and he was on the top story of that house and how he escaped. And a fourth friend told the story about being attacked by a weapon in the war and how he escaped. Next, I read. But you all talk, said one of the company, as though tight corners were always physical affairs. Surely they can be tighter when they are mental. The tightest corner I was ever in was at the Christie's. This particular paragraph, which I have read now for you, this is very often asked for explanation, and I have given this explanation in PDF form, so you may look at this WhatsApp channel of our college. I explain. So one of the company, they were friends in the company, and one of the company, I guess it was the writer, the essayist himself. So he says that you have told all these stories wherein you have escaped from say bodily hurt, but sometimes the tight corners or difficult situations or critical situations can be mental also. uh, so the tightest corner in his life was at the Christie's. Now what is Christie's? Christie's is a famous auctioneer's house in London where objects of art and other um, objects of art are sold there, things like paintings and others. Yes, I read. Yes, I had been lunching rather well at a club in St. James's Street with an old friend from abroad, and passing along King's Street afterwards, he persuaded me to look in at the sale room. The place was full. They were selling Barbizon pictures, getting tremendous sums for each, 2,000, 3,000 for little bits of things, forest scenes, pools at evening, shepherdesses, the regular subjects. Nothing went as low as 3 figures at all. Well, we watched for a little while, and then I found myself bidding too, just for fun. I had exactly 63 pounds in in the bank and not enough securities to borrow 500 on. And here I was nodding away to the auctioneer like a plutocrat. The essayist says that he was taking lunch in James's Street and he was passing from the King's Street, and there his friend asked him to pass some time in Christie's sale room. And in the sale room they were selling Barbizon pictures and other natural sceneries, and they were getting 2,000, 3,000 pounds for each of the paintings. And in the excitement, the essayist also felt like making bids. So if somebody said 1,000, he said 1,050. And so he went on, bidding as if he were a very rich person. The reality was that he had only 63 pounds in his bank account. So if he were prudent, then he should not have, made his bids, because he might get caught. I read, "You will get caught," my friend said to me. And so much so his friend also advised him not to participate in the bidding, because if the bid ends at his bid, then he will have to pay for it. And then the writer said, "No, I shan't," I said. "I'm not going to run any risks," I explained. So he told his friend that okay, he is bidding very safe, and so he should be allowed the pleasure of bidding. I read, "And for a long time I didn't. And then a picture was put up, and a short red-faced man in a new top hat, some well-known dealer who had bought quite a number, electrified the room by starting the bidding at a figure little higher than any that he had yet given or that anything had reached. Although the previous lots had run into 4 figures, they had all been modestly started at 50 guineas or 100 guineas, with a gradual crescendo to which I had often been a safe contributor. But sooner was the new picture displayed than the dealer made his sensational bid. 4,000 guineas, he said. Now I explain. So, the essayist kept on bidding, and he wasn't caught. Now, a red-faced man had brought another painting, and now this time the price was very high. Earlier, the paintings started their bids at 50 guineas and then 100 guineas, and gradually the amount rose to maybe thousands. But this time this painting was started with a very high price, 4,000 guineas, he said. I read, "There was a rustle of excitement, and at the end of it I heard my own voice saying, 'And 50. Now look at, I explain. And now look at this situation. He says, the essay says, he heard his own voice saying. Means he bid for the painting unconsciously. He was in the habit of bidding. And so anything came with 100 pounds, then he could safely say, "And 50 more." But this time the amount was 4,000, and as he had developed the habit, and he said, "And 50 more." The essayist was expecting that someone will say 4,100 pounds. But let us see what happens. I read, "A terrible silence followed, during which the auctioneer looked inquiringly first at the opener and then at the company generally. To my surprise and horror, the red-faced dealer gave no sign of life. I realize now, as I ought to have done at first, that he had shot his bolt." So when the essayist had said "and 50," everybody was silent, and the auctioneer first, as if he was going to question the essayist whether he had the money, and then he looked at the opener, and the essayist was greatly surprised, and he was horrified because now his reputation was at risk, and the red-faced dealer did not show any relief. The essayist was greatly worried, but he did not get any relief. The face of the dealer was very stern, and now he realized his mistake, and now he felt very sorry because the dealer had got his prey. His so fourth I read 4,050 guineas offered, said the auctioneer, again searching the room. And so the bid had almost come to an end, but the auctioneer who was making the auction, now he again wanted to look for more bidders, but there was no bidder, unfortunately. I read, my heart stopped, my blood congealed. There was no sound but a curious smothered noise from my friend. So the author was, greatly perplexed. His heart stopped, as if his heart had stopped, and as if his blood had frozen, and there was absolute silence except the suppressed laughter of his friend. And so, friends, I'll stop here. I shall explain this the remaining part of the essay in the next part, which is part 2. Thank you.